Hello all and welcome back to the channel. Welcome people, as it normally says across the top of my head. This is EV News number 9. I'm going to take into consideration electric buses, Toyota, big one on this one, Toyota, and lots more. So let's get on with it. Okay, first up on EV News number 9. This one's about another gigafactory. Hopefully, everything crossed, for the UK. This could end up in the Netherlands, it could end up in Spain. They've done some surveys and they've been there and looked at the grounds where it might be, and so the UK's looking pretty good for it at the moment, but hey, who knows? This is a fight between countries to get these gigafactories. We've already got one pretty much in the planning now and definitely going ahead. This will be number 2. The first one I've not even reported on. It was all in the news, so I won't bore you with that one. This is from a company called Eurocell. Eurocell are owned by the South Koreans and a UK consortium. I've not heard of these people before. Don't get them mixed up with the double glazing company, because there is one out there, people. So this is Eurocell. This will be a gigafactory, like I say, and these people have got their head screwed on, whereas they will pretty much, as soon as the go-ahead's done and the planning's yes, things will go forward pretty rapid, and they're talking about making these batteries and producing them within 12 months of now. So they reckon they are going to be made 5 times to 10 times better than the regular batteries now used in EVs, different components about them. So I'm not going to go into the technical side of it. This is just to say that they're thinking about establishing themselves here. Now obviously this is a lot of jobs it could create, and I think these gigafactories are good sustainable jobs for the future of the UK, so we do need this to happen. So it would be good if planning does come our way. The batteries themselves, again I'm not going to get too technical, the batteries themselves are meant to be better in extreme weathers of hot and cold. And again, it's a format they know about. There's not much detail come out yet regarding that, so I'm not going to bore you with that. Yeah, £600 million worth of investment for this gigafactory for these batteries. That's a lot of money, folks, you know, a lot of money. So they are very, very serious about this. So that's really all I can tell you about Eurocell. There's not a great deal of news out there about them yet, but if I get some more details, I will bring it back to you and add to it in another EV news in the future. So that's, remember the name, Eurocell. EMEA, I believe it is, the full name of the company. And again, like I say, it's South Korean and British put together. So this is why I've got a sneaky feeling that it will make the UK where this factory will be. Let's move it on. Okay, number 2 in this EV news number 9 is INSTAVOLT. Now INSTAVOLT, these babies here, INSTAVOLT have always been one of my favourite charge points. And I say that because they are not just, they're great to look at, they're bright, they're modern look, you can't miss the things, you know, they're huge. And they do their job really well. I've never known one to let me down. You go straight up, pop your card on, boom, it's instant. They're normally very, very fast as well. But what brings me around to INSTAVOLT is that they are now going forward to have yet another 1,000 in by late summer this year. That's another 1,000 charge points by INSTAVOLT. Now, no, I'm going to say this, folks, they are not the cheapest, never have been, but they're one of the most reliable that I've ever used. And I think if you pay for that reliability to give you 4 to 6 miles on every kilowatt you buy from them in the summer, that's got to be good. I'd sooner have reliability and know that things can be working every time I get there, guaranteed, than I would get there and find that it's broke or damaged and not working. And I've never found an INSTAVOLT one that hasn't been perfect. So that's the good thing about them. Already in at McDonald's, like here and here. These two can both be found on my channel. These were some of the first ones in Loughborough at McDonald's. They've also got them in locations of Costa Coffee, I believe, and some other outlets. Where these 1,000 are going to go exactly, I couldn't tell you, but they are investing heavily. There's a hub down on the M40 with INSTAVOLT chargers, and I believe now they are going into Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland area with these chargers. So good for INSTAVOLT, glad they're going ahead. Don't expect them to be the cheapest when you get there. Use them as a, I don't know, a get you home or a get you to your destination type charger. You know, stop off, grab a coffee or a McDonald's or whatever, wherever they're situated. Grab off, get something to eat, stay on for 15 minutes, get your boost up, get 50, 60 mile in, then shoot off. don't go on empty to full, because they will cost you. I'm expecting INSTAVOLT to forget the 50 kilowatt an hour ones now and jump to the 125s, 250s, or even 350 kilowatt hour chargers. So that's INSTAVOLT. Keep with them because they are always super reliable. Okay, now one of my favourite cars, but never ever hit the UK shores, was the Chevy Bolt. Now, don't get it mixed up with the Chevy Volt. The Volt was like the Ampera. It was a 40 mile of electric and then ran off a motor that generated and blah. No, this is the full electric Bolt I'm talking about here. They did get a few in Europe. I believe they were sold in Holland and a few in Germany, Scandinavia, maybe got a few, Norway, etc. up that way. Never actually made the UK shores because it was at the time when the Vauxhall dealerships and General Motors were being sold to the Stellantis group, just as that was coming out in maybe late 17, early 18. So it never made it, I'm afraid. Great shame, because when that first came out with the 60 odd kilowatt battery pack, the range was phenomenal for an EV in 2018. Very rapid off the mark, as quick as that little i3 I've got, I know that for sure. Lots of torque and equivalent brake horsepower. So I'm just going to go back on why I'm going to be talking about it. One, because it peeved me that they never did. I'd have bought one. I think I would have bought one. But two, they had this very serious problem where a few of them caught fire.
So this morning, this Chevy Bolt behind me here kind of spontaneously caught fire and it's totaled. Everyone's safe and okay. But I wanted to get a few pictures. Maybe someone can help us figure out what exactly happened.
Now, it wasn't General Motors' fault. It had nothing to do with Chevrolet. It was purely the LG batteries. LG supplied the batteries, they made them and everything else, and all GM did was bolt them up. And so all this payback has come to LG to sort out, not General Motors. But the good news is that they have all been recalled and not sold for the last, wow, it must be getting on over a year now since they recalled them all. But GM are getting them all in their dealerships, putting new software in, okay, and changing the battery cells. Now these new battery cells, this may sound stupid, they won't allow the car now, the old Bolt used to go to 90% and then not charge anymore. This now will go to 80% and not charge anymore. So the new 80% is the new 100%. So what they're doing there is that they're allowing you to charge it up to the maximum of 80 or just over. But then the good thing is you're making it back on the depletion side. You will find that there'll be a fair bit left in the battery pack. Overall, they say that the range has actually improved since they've done this, but we'll wait and see on that one. And don't forget there is a Mark II version out now, which is this one here. I'll give you a full picture of the thing from the side. That now is the new Chevy Bolt. Far better than the first one. Still well priced in for the US market. Still gives great range and is still an excellent small to medium size EV. Just a great shame that the LG battery packs gave them a problem. Because I know for sure, let's face it folks, if you're not an EV person and you're a fossil head, the first thing you're going to jump on is the fact that, oh, they've been catching fire. Oh, so every other post on these forums, once the fossil heads get this thing from the media, one or maybe two things that happen, that's it, all the bolts are rubbish. 140,000 units were recalled, and it's been a long time getting them back on song, but they're there now, and I believe that they are being sold again next month or the month after. Again, brand new, like I say, the Mark II version. So they should not be catching fire anymore. And it weren't all of them, like I say, it was the odd one or two. So let's move on. Okay, very quickly on to Toyota. Never been my favourite, I don't know why. I've had a couple of Toyotas in the past. I had a Toyota Crown, a little fridge in the boot, it was a massive thing. The lights wrapped around the front, it was a glorious thing to drive. But that thing blew up, the engine blew up on the dual carriageway not far from here down near a place called Ashby. Anyway, I digress. Toyota, for some reason, why they do this I don't know. They have to be seen to be different. So now all of a sudden, the best EV in the world is going to be a Toyota. Well, we'll wait and see on that one. And now they're talking about producing a manual gearbox for an EV. I know. Why? Why Toyota? Why mess about with something that works perfect in an EV. The fluid power you get, that, you know, why ruin it trying to, horrible manual gearboxes, stick shifts, who needs them anymore? Who needs them in an EV? So here's Toyota trying to design one, they're painting it already, and they say it might show in their next row of EVs. Well, yeah, don't fix something that's not broke, Toyota, but hey ho, I'll leave that one with you. So if you like stick shift, and it's one of the very small little tiny details stopping you from buying an EV, maybe it's the way forward. For me, never in a million years. Let's move on. Okay, there's a thing called an influence map. I don't know if you've ever come across this before. You probably haven't. It doesn't make the news a great deal. But I'm going to bring it up here on this EV News number 9. The influence map is the companies that influence people against EVs. Now, again, shocking horror, I'm going to bring the name of Toyota up because in this map I'm going to show you now, this is the top 10 bad, evil if you want, influencers who influence people against any green issue, sustainability, EVs, anything to do with change from the auto industry as we know it today. Now, have a look in that top 10 and you'll notice there that you've only got one car company. And believe it or not, yes, it's that name I've made, it's Toyota, the Toyota Group. Now, I think it's because, I'll leave this on for you to look at a bit longer, but I believe it's there and they've made the top 10 purely because of all the hybrids with big fossil fuel engines and their decision to put money into hydrogen, which I think, again, was a bit wrong. It took them an age to come round and admit defeat and go, okay, EVs, electric, is the main power source for personal transportation in the future. So that's where they're on there, I think, because they've been very, very bad to rib or take the mickey or be against the electric powered car. Yet they make hybrids, which is, I don't know, 25% electric if you want to say that. So yeah, and if you look at that now as well, I'll take it down for a minute so you can look at my ugly mush. Hello and welcome back. If you look at that, you'll see that also in there there's only one British company, that's BP. Now I don't know about BP. I don't know if they are as bad as people are making out or as good. I know BP have been putting a lot of money into BP Pulse, Chargemaster, and investing in electric chargers here in the UK a lot. I don't know if they've been doing that in Europe or in the US, but BP have been trying here. Is it enough? No, I don't think so. In my last EV news, I did mention the fact that they were putting a lot more chargers in, and good of them. But to make this list, they've done something obviously to make this influence list and influence map as they call it. They're in the top 10, but luckily they are the only British company. BASF are in there, if you noticed. Let me put it back on. Yeah, and then obviously you've got your typicals, your other oil companies, mainly American, 4 or 5 American on there. But again, it is what it is. You can either sniff at it and go, what a load of rubbish, or you can look at it deeply and go, yeah, same old, same old. The names are there from way back in the day and they've not changed their minds, you know? Anyway, it's gone. I'm back. Put it with my mush. So that's the influencers who have been nothing but bad for the last 12 months. Let's move on. Okay, I'm going to finish this one here with number 6 on this EV9. Number 6, this is going to take me up to wee Scotland, you know, up the north of Britain. I don't do a bad Scottish accent, but that weren't very good. This came out on BBC News, okay, in one of their media hits. Now the BBC, you either, or you go, ooh, BBC. I'm halfway with it. I won't say that they're bad all the time, but they do some silly medias. Anyway, this one is about a bus company, McGill's, and there's the picture now of a McGill bus. That's the company there. I don't know if anyone uses them that's watching this. If you do, let me know how you get on with them. They all got electric buses. The guy ordered 68 electric buses. Quite a big company, board of directors, etc., etc. They actually mentioned in some form of HR discussion or message that they might or are contemplated actually using a diesel generator to charge the buses up, okay, to use them. Now, this has brought on a lot of flack, a lot of idiots, a lot of fools, and again fossil heads who have jumped on it and then popped it all over social media, over Facebook and YouTube or whatever, and Twitter, and oh man, the good old BBC, since they reported this, in a very small little 2-line paragraph, did say that they haven't used them yet, and it is just a backup plan that's been there for ages anyway. But because of the cost of electricity at the moment and the way it's shot up 50 to 60%, they reckon that to use the buses on pure electric and charge them up with their facilities that they've got now is costing them an extra 600 and something thousand pound. Now, if that's the case, I see why they're thinking, well look, let's use the diesel generator, let's charge the buses up, work it from there. Now, I don't see a problem with that to a point, as long as it's a short-term event while prices balance out and they get the thing sorted, or they get some better chargers or a better deal with a local electric company. But what I'm saying is, why do the fossil heads jump on it as if it's an evil thing when it's not? When you consider, let's say for example here, it might only take 50 litres to actually charge 2 buses off that one generator, okay, for say 3 hours. 50 litres of diesel. Okay, now that's made its pollution point, it's done and dusted. You take that 50 litres out of that generator, add another 150 litres in each bus, so you've got 200 litres, and then let them go out and do the stuff. You've polluted 4 times more, haven't you? And it's cost the company 4 times more money in diesel cost. Think also of the emissions, the exhaust fumes it's still saved, and stopped 2 buses going out with 200 litres in each bus to do their route or whatever it takes, or 100 litres each bus, and then all the fumes coming out the buses. At least he's kept his electric buses so far. He'd be a fool to sell them, Mr. McGill. So if you ever see this, you've done the right thing, and good of you and of your company and your board of directors. And there will be a time when fuel and diesel gets a lot more expensive than electric, and then you're going to be laughing at everybody else, aren't you? That's McGill's. That's the story about the Scottish buses. You know, it has been a bit of a clickbait thing for the BBC. So, if you're a fossil head and you've been chasing this story and been watching it and shoving it on and sharing it and having a laugh at EV owners, it ain't no big laugh, because the electric bus is still being used. Alright, so I won't dwell on that much longer. I will say there is one other point, and that is that the emergency backup for anything electric at this moment in time is possibly diesel anyway, or fossil fuel based. But times will change, make no doubt about it. So, and my emblem is this. You know that. Electric first, dyno fuel second. That guy at McGill's is doing exactly that. Good of him if that's what it takes to keep his business afloat and make a bit of profit. But he's still using the buses. Anyway, that's it. Okay, I'm going to end 9 here now. Thank you so much for listening to me again. Thank you for letting me rant in your living room or on your phone or on your big telly or wherever you're watching this YouTube channel of mine. If you've not subscribed before, why not? You better get subscribed. I'd love it if you did, if it's the first time you're here. But on that note, I'm out of here. I've had enough. I've ranted enough. You've seen me ugly mush enough. I've told you too much information. Get out.